Rumors of Khabib failing a drug test. I've got to tell you guys, I don't see any truth to this. In fact, I want to just come out and tell you guys, this is not true. And that's a nasty and vicious thing to say about a guy who's clean for no reason. I can't go quite that far because how many times in this sport, wherever there's smoke in this sport, wherever there's smoke, there's fire, right? I mean, the worst guys to keep a secret are fighters. You could telephone, telegraph, or tell a fighter, word's going to get out. But let's unpack this a little bit from a different perspective. USADA came out and did something very cool, okay? Very, very cool, and USADA deserves a lot of credit. And all that was is they went through like a bad month. 4 guys, and I can't remember them all, but I remember Josh Barnett was cleared, Little Nog was cleared, Dos Santos was cleared, and there was a 4th fighter that were all in the hot seat, that all got notifications from USADA. USADA then went and did the checks and balances known as due diligence, cleared all of them. Had no problem, showed tremendous integrity, looked at themselves, says, we got this one wrong. We see why. We see what happened here. Get on with it. Well, there was a byproduct, though. I mean, Junior Dos Santos lost a sponsor that he never got back. I mean, that stuff's out there on the internet. People think he failed a drug test. The same thing happened with Little Nog. Little Nog took it so bad, he was losing students at his gym. I think he lost 2 sponsors. One of them came back. One of them never came back. It was one of these things where sort of, okay, look, we see what happened. We see the problem. Here's what we're going to do. Instead of telling everybody when there's an irregular test, we're just going to go to the fighter. We're going to do the due diligence. It'll all happen very quietly. Very quietly, the fighter will not be booked for any fights or he'll be removed from cards, but it'll be very quiet. We'll do all of the due diligence, all of the back and forth, even go to mediation if that's what it calls for. But once everything's cleared up and resolved, then we will make the statement, of which, if the guy is clean, just nothing's ever said ever. All that mediation, all the tests, all the due diligence, all the behind, never happened. Never happened. Nobody ever speaks of it. Okay. If we do that and you come out and you're hot, then we come out and tell people, boom, here's what happened, and here's what the suspension that was passed down, here was the substance that was found in the system. But we're going to do it once we have all the facts. Great. Like anything, right? No good deed goes unpunished. That was a good deed by USADA. Now what's the punishment? Well, the unintended consequence is you can now accuse a guy. You can now start a rumor that isn't true about Khabib. And there's nothing that Khabib can do because the process says that it has to stay quiet until it is all resolved and done. That then fuels the fire to a vicious rumor about Khabib because there's nobody to come out and speak. You see how this accidentally happened, and this is why you can start a rumor like this. Now, Khabib, the way USADA works is he could go to them and go, hey, would you guys mind putting out a statement? Their PR team would likely be very helpful and go, yeah, we would do that. Or not. Or Khabib is dealing with something behind the scenes and he's having to turn over this or explain. I mean, there's all sorts of moving parts, none of which I believe are true, none of which there's any evidence that is true. In fact, we have evidence to the contrary. If USADA is ever looking into something, a guy is quietly removed from a card. If he chooses to come out and speak about it like Nate Diaz did and said, you better get this resolved, toot sweet, or Sean O'Malley that said, look, I don't want this to be a secret. They offered to help me through. This is what happened. You have that choice. But we have evidence that Khabib is not in the hot seat in that he just got assigned to a fight. That is the opposite reaction that the UFC and USADA would have to somebody who was flagged. So I'm very confident telling you guys, this is a garbage, vicious, fake news lie of the highest of levels. I'm very confident in telling you that based on the evidence that we have seen that Khabib now has a date at the Barclays Center in April with Tony. It's also opens a door, as you guys can see, where you could start a rumor, and it's a hard one to squash, even if it's not fair.